Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Spirituality with Gabriella. So, today we're doing a pick a card reading on your first date with your future spouse, which is, of course, a very exciting topic. So, I am very happy to do this reading for you all today, and I hope it brings you some clarity and guidance. I am asking for clear, accurate, and specific messages as always. So any intuitive messages I get, I'm going to be sharing them today. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you have not already so you can join the family, and share it if you feel so inclined. And without further ado, let's get into the piles. So here we have pile 1 with the Citrine. Here we have pile 2 with this little Jade Buddha. And then here we have pile 3 with the Chrysocolla. So take a second and turn your thoughts and your intuition inwards. And then once you find the pile that speaks most to you, you can fast forward using the timestamps below and get your own personal reading. And I will see you all there. Thank you so much. Hey pile 1, welcome to your reading. So I'm going to be pulling your cards, which I have here in my hand, and I'm going to shuffle them and just ask about your first date with your future spouse. And let's see what comes through for you. Alright, so let's start with these 4 because I'm already getting messages. So as you can see, we have the 2 of Cups, the Page of Cups, Death, and Judgment. And so the first thing I'm pulled to is the fact that this person is very much in your destiny, which is obvious, right? Because they're your spouse. But I feel like you'll have an intimate connection with this person very early on. And so the first thing I'm seeing is an amazing partnership, because 2 of Cups is 2 people coming together and really kind of hitting it off. And I believe that on your first date you're meeting somewhere for dinner. That's how it feels to me. And for many of you, I'm getting that this would be Indian food. If not Indian food, I would say Thai food. And to me, it does feel like you're out in a restaurant, but if you are at home, then it feels like there's a lot of plates on the table, and perhaps you would have spent a long time preparing this. But I think for most of you, this is a dinner. This is a place where you go to a restaurant. It feels like very comforting food. It feels like very warm food, the type of food where you can just kind of sit back, relax, enjoy, maybe even have a glass of wine if that's the type of thing that you want to do. And I'm going to try and describe the vibe that I get through intuitive messages. So it feels like this restaurant or this place is a little bit dimly lit, so it might have like candles around it or that kind of thing. It feels like just a really nice vibe, nice ambiance. It doesn't feel too busy, but it feels like a quality place. It also feels like this restaurant might be a family-owned business. And I think that you have time to really sit down with this person and laugh and get to know them. So it has a very warm vibe about it. So that's one message I'm getting. There's another group of people here, though, who meet their future spouse outside for the first time. And when I see outside, what I'm getting is spending time with them outside in the open air. And it almost feels like sitting in the back of your patio, or like you invited them over to your place. And I feel like your parents or your family will be around if this is the group that applies to you. And so I think your parents or family will have put effort into kind of preparing for this person to come over. So these are the 2 options I'm getting for how you meet your future spouse on the first date. So what I'm instantly seeing is the 2 of Cups is obviously a great partnership like I mentioned previously. I feel that you two connect on a very emotional level. There is a clear line of communication. There is a lot of laughing. There's a lot of joy. I feel like throughout the conversation, especially on the first date, you are laughing more and more. So whereas at the beginning you might feel a little bit stiff or a little bit awkward or perhaps just self-conscious, it feels like you're loosening up throughout the conversation. When I tune into your future spouse's energy, what I'm getting is almost kind of wavy hair, and for some of them, not a cowlick, I don't know if that's the right word, but it's almost like a strand that falls down on their forehead. And I'm getting very warm eyes. For some of them, amber or light eyes, but it feels very warm, feels very peaceful. And I think that when you look at them, you feel at home. And so I just think that when you're talking, they're very intent about listening to you, and you can see that there's a lot of care and compassion exuding from them. And I believe that because you see that so early on, you just feel like, oh my gosh, yes, this is the right person for me. The conversation feels very fluid, feels like you have a lot in common. I think some of you are artistic in the sense that you're writers, or you are prone to kind of jotting your thoughts down on paper. That might be through journaling, that might be through song, but whatever it is, it feels like they really love this about you, they cherish this, and they also relate to this to an extent. I feel like their mind is multi-layered. It's not just a logical mind where they're just existing on one plane or one surface. Instead, it feels like they are a bit more philosophical, they're a bit more free-flowing with their thoughts, and so I think that you two connect on this level. It's definitely going to be a strong emotional connection, because when we see the Page of Cups, this is an offering, this is an emotional connection that we're seeing here. This is the type of situation where it just feels like a lot of fun, and there's no conflict or hardship or serious awkwardness when it comes to the situation. I think there might be the initial butterflies or the initial nervousness that you get on a first date, but it feels like honestly the conversation just kind of flows and you're able to work with it. I would say that you're very sociable, and I think they ask you questions and they're curious about getting to know you more. And so you find yourself talking even more than what you would expect. But I feel like you find this fun, I feel like it's enjoyable, and time just kind of passes when you're with this person. So before you know it, I think 3 hours will have passed and you realize, oh my gosh, I've been here for 3 hours? I can't believe that, So that feels joyful, that feels nice. And I think that with death here, this is a transformation that takes place from the first date. So whereas you might walk into this first date being unsure or uncertain about how things go, I think that once you meet this person and you have these wonderful 3 hours that pass, it feels like you really know that that's your person, and you leave with confidence and you leave with your head held high. And the reason is just that you feel successful. You feel like finally, after talking to a bunch of people and trying out a bunch of different things, you have found the person that is right for you, and you know in your heart and in your mind that it went well. It's kind of the same feeling you get when someone does a job interview and they leave feeling like, yeah, I aced that interview. I just feel that with your future spouse, you have that exact same sentiment walking out of your first date. And so you know that there's not going to be any awkwardness moving forward. There will be excitement, but it's not the type of awkwardness some people get where it's feeling like, oh my gosh, are they going to text me back, or are they going to reach out to me? I think you are confident walking out because you know that you two got along so well and have so much in common, and you just know that you're both going to come back together. So you're not going to leave with a lot of uncertainty. If anything, I feel like you leave with confidence and you leave with excitement. So with Judgment here, what I'm getting, which is really sweet, is that you two will grow old together. I think this is the type of relationship where when you're walking side by side, you'll hold hands, you'll do sweet things like going to the park and sitting on a park bench and watching the swans, or looking out onto the water, or just talking about life. And so you both are artistically minded, you have that kind of creative bent, and this adds a lot of fluidity to the relationship. It adds a lot of enjoyment. And so being outside, being together, that's going to be something that you both cherish a lot. And so that calls to you for sure. This person is very much part of your destiny. They are the type of person who will uplift you. They will definitely help you see things that you might not see by yourself. I feel like they are kind of dreamy, that's what I want to say. So I think that they're a charming person. I think that they're good at giving gifts and doing sweet things, especially for special occasions like Valentine's Day, for example. I feel like they would do something nice and sweet for you and take the time out to do that. I also just get a lot of stuff about, yeah, I'm getting just like a dreamy vibe. I feel like when you're with them, it almost at the beginning doesn't feel like real life. As corny as that sounds, it might just kind of feel like, you know what? I've been waiting for this for so long, and I've been talking to all these people and nothing really seemed right. But with this person, everything just clicks into place and it seems right. And so you might be kind of walking on air for a while after meeting them. And I feel that there will be a honeymoon period or phase that you go through shortly after meeting them, because you two will definitely stay connected. So let's see if there's just anything else about this first date. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if some of them buy you a stuffed animal, something like a teddy bear, or a stuffed animal of a dog, or something cute, the type of thing that you get on Valentine's Day. I feel like they might get that for you as a gift, so if that is resonating with any of you, then definitely take it. So I'm just going to go over these 3 cards to just get any additional messages. So take note of the cups here, because that is significant. When we see cups, this is often correlated with water signs. I think water might fall into the chart, but it definitely does not feel limited to just water. I think that there are other signs at play here. So I'll let you know if I get any specific ones. But what I want you to know is I think this emotional aspect is definitely showing through hardcore. When we see the King of Cups here, this is someone who's charming, somebody who has a lot of sensitivity to them. And I feel that their hair, funnily enough, some of them, it actually kind of looks like this. Not that it's necessarily this long, but if you look at this like wave and how this is kind of falling across his forehead in this very beautiful way, you know, your future spouse might have that same type of appearance. What I want to say is I feel that this person comes from a good family. I feel like they are bonded with their family, that they get along well with their family for the most part, which is nice. It feels like on the first date, the conversation is mainly focused around what you like to do in your free time, so you'll discuss hobbies. I think that if you're a writer, like I mentioned, writing will come up for sure, and that's something that they will admire about you. I'm getting that there are some jokes. They might kind of tease you in a nice way about how you spend your time. So just as an example, if you say, oh yeah, I love shopping on the weekends or whatever, they might kind of tease you about that, but it's very lighthearted and it's done with a lot of care and comfort. With the Four of Pentacles, like I said, I feel like security is a theme here. So you walk out feeling secure. One thing I can say is I feel like they pay for the meal that you two go on, so you don't need to worry about money. They have it all under control. They're very chivalrous. They're very kind. They are the type of person who will definitely offer to pay. You know, they're not going to create an awkward situation for you where it's just like, oh gosh, what do I do? they're not going to be like that. Yeah, they honestly support you throughout their whole life. So this is a very strong partnership and relationship, which is beautiful. And then the artist, I mean, I don't need to say it so many more times, but you are both artists in some capacity. I don't necessarily mean this literally. I think that you are the one that does more tangible arts. For example, when you think about writing or painting and that kind of thing, I feel like you are pulled to this. I feel like your future spouse might just be more of a philosophical or a fluid thinker. They might like to read philosophy. They might be very into history and different disciplines and ways of thinking. But whatever it is, they are not just going by the norm. They're someone who can step out of the norm. They're someone who can do things differently, and so I feel like you will bond with them 100% over this. So these are the main messages that I'm getting for you today, and I hope that this gives you some clarity and guidance about your first date with your future spouse. And thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and you can always share it if you feel so inclined. If you would like to book a personal reading, you can always do that using the links in my YouTube banner. Alright everyone, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Bye! Hey Pile 2, welcome to your reading. So if you picked this little jade green Buddha, then this is the reading for you. And I have your cards here, and I'm just going to shuffle them and see what comes through about your first date with your future spouse. It's funny. We'll talk about that. 1 second. One more. Okay, so let's talk about these cards here. So as you can see, we have an interesting mix. We have the Ten of Swords, Justice, the Magician, the Ten of Cups, and the Tower. And what I want you to know is 10 and 10. I'm drawn to this because these are very powerful numbers, and we have a ton of major arcana cards here, so take note of that. That is definitely significant. That is definitely showing that this is momentous. Let me just tune in very quickly to the energy. I'm getting pulled in a lot of different places, so what I want to say, just intuitively, is for some of you, this first card doesn't even apply at all. And I will address it in a second, but for some of you, what I'm seeing is a very fun day out, and how I would describe this is like a food market or going to a fair or something like that. And I believe that your first time that you spend with your future spouse is just a carefree day, the type of day that feels very casual, where you're eating outside. It has the kind of vibe where you might grab a cotton candy or something like that, and you just walk around and spend time together. And it feels like it's sunny, it feels like it's nice, so I'm going to say that it is in the summer actually, and that is just a good time. And I am seeing like Instagram messages and DMs, as well as meeting on an app. So if any of you are talking to anyone on an app or have talked to anyone on an app previously, I feel like this is still a path to potentially meet this person and have this fun first date. So that's one thing, because I think that applies to some of you, so take that if it resonates. So for this first card here, let's dig into this. So the Ten of Swords is usually symbolic of an ending, and it's very funny because it's your first date and yet it's showing an ending, which is kind of an odd symbol to bring up here, honestly. I have to ask for clarification. I'm not resonating with it. Like, the energy is not really making sense for me. Okay, so King of Swords. So I think that what might be the case is that one of the two of you have just gotten out of a relationship or are a little bit hard-headed when it comes to love. And this is not something that is part of this person's character, rather this is a situational thing. So they might have learned to be somewhat logical because of the situations they've been in, but I think really, if I'm to be honest, I think that they might have had a hard situation with love, or maybe it's you. One of the two of you is kind of a little bit jaded when it comes to relationships. And so I think they're approaching this from logic. It's a kind of energy that you get when you're interviewing for jobs and you just know it doesn't make sense to get that attached until I know the final outcome. But whereas with a job, you get an offer and then it makes sense to really be committed to the company. With dating, it doesn't really work that easily. It's not as clear as, okay, round 1, round 2, round 3. It can either go really fast, it can go really slow, it can be somewhere in between. So it's going to take some prudence and also some persistence to just get past that initial hurdle for some of you. And I feel that for most of you, this energy is coming from their end. So that might be interesting to deal with just at the beginning, but I don't think it's anything that's going to harm you in any way. It's not going to be too difficult because you have really good cards, especially here and also here actually. So we're going to talk through these and maybe give you as much clarity and guidance as we can. So when we see Justice, I feel like whatever that person dealt with in the past, it just had to end. It was the type of energy where it was not serving them anymore. This might have been that they were in a relationship that was very taxing for them, very draining for them. I'm getting that some of them might have dealt with someone who had mental health issues, or it's like they loved that person and they cared for that person, but they just didn't have it in them to keep going. And so I feel like with Justice, one of the messages I'm getting is that that was meant to end. And although it means they're starting this relationship off on a bit of an odd footing, it's actually a good thing because justice is what's happening here. They weren't meant to continue with that, and they are meant to be with you. And so justice is coming to both of you because finally things are coming full circle. Finally, you are meeting the person that you're meant to be with. And I feel like you are very clear-minded and clear-headed about what you want in a partner. And so you're able to help this person understand that whatever situation they were dealing with was really not healthy for them. And now it's time for you two to come together and to be more wise and to be more heartfelt than what they've dealt with previously. And so I feel like the situation rapidly becomes very positive. When we see the Magician here, this is like magic, problems are waved away and new things come into your life. And so I feel like you help give them this new perspective that they might not have gotten previously. So when I tap into the energy of the first date, I am still seeing this outdoor fair or outdoor market. So this could be a farmer's market, this could be some kind of food stall or something like that. Whatever it is, it feels like you're enjoying time outside together. So that's definitely one way that you might spend this first date. I feel like a big part of the first date is really just kind of trying to break through to them. So whereas some people instantly get into very deep conversations, I feel like at the very beginning they're going to be a little bit more reserved and they're not going to tell you everything that they've just dealt with. And so you might notice some space or some distance, and you know in your heart that they're interested in you, so you're not that concerned about that. But you might just kind of notice that there's a little bit of a space or a reservedness about them. But I want you to know that by the end of this first date, you have already pretty much won them over. Even if they're still a little bit hesitant, they understand that you are a very positive influence in their life. And they see a lot of genuine goodness in you, and that's why they like you, and that's why they're pulled to talk to you again. So one thing that I can say as advice is just be your most genuine and authentic self and come across as honestly as possible, because they are definitely not at the place in their life where they're willing to tolerate any extra games or any extra kind of hoops that they would need to jump through. Instead, they want someone to be authentic. They want someone to pretty much tell them how it is. And I feel like you're a very kind and warm person, and they'll see that in you, and they'll see that you're very trustworthy as well. And so that's what they like about you. I also feel like many of you watching have a good educational background and might have done something really cool in a degree, whether that be a bachelor's, a master's, a PhD, perhaps it's a dissertation or a special project. I feel like there's something a lot of you have worked on that you're excited about and that you want to share with them. And they think it's really cool to see, you know, how kind of fired up you get about this thing and how wise you are when it comes to that topic and that subject matter. So that feels very positive, and that feels like a selling point. We also have the 10 of Cups here. And when we see the 10 of Cups, this is a very happy sign. This is the type of sign that is telling me this person really understands how much value you bring, and they're able to see you and see that you are such an amazing person. It's kind of that feeling you get when, you know, it's almost like everything pauses for a moment and they just realize, oh my gosh, the person I'm sitting across from is such an amazing person. This person is so vibrant, this person is so accomplished. And so they will really see the best in you through this first date. And I honestly think that it's only because you're talking about yourself, you're talking about your passions, your talents, you're being authentic, and that's what they like. They don't even need a lot of random romantic games. They don't need all of the fluff, so to speak. And I know, you know, we all love romance and we love that stuff, but for them, they don't even need all of that. They just want you to be authentically yourself. That's what you're able to do, and so that makes them very happy. They really think highly of you, and the only thing I'm gonna say, which is where the Tower comes in here, is I think they might leave thinking that you're a little too good for them, if I am to be perfectly honest. And so I'm gonna tell you this honestly, and I want you to know this is not going to happen to everyone. This is going to happen to a handful of people, and you don't need to be concerned about it because obviously you end up marrying this person. But in some cases, they text you after and they say, you know, you're such a great person and you're just too good for me, and I just don't think that I'm ready to continue with this relationship. So that would be the Tower coming through. That would be the moment at which something shocking happens or something seems hard when everything else seemed so good and so promising. But I want you to know you end up marrying this person, so clearly it ends up working out. I'm just going to ask about any other clarification messages that we need to know. Okay, so we have the Queen of Swords. Okay, and the Two of Swords. Okay, and the Two of Wands. What I'm getting is more of advice. So the good news is that it is the first date. It is literally the first time that you meet them, and it is perfectly fine if you don't both leave like head over heels, like skipping away, because honestly that's not how life works. We need to have more foresight and more vision and be willing to deal with some of the things that come up. So what I'm seeing with the Swords is that you are the ruler in the relationship. You are the person that has the foresight that this is going to be a strong relationship. I honestly think that when they are entering this relationship, they're not taking it as seriously as you are. They're kind of disheartened, and so you need to help them rebuild that trust and that faith in relationships. They're very open to it. It's just that they had someone in the past who kind of just didn't do right by them, who disappointed them, and so their faith has been a little bit shot. And so when we see the Queen of Swords, as I said, the best advice is just be yourself and talk about the things you know and what you're passionate about. And when you bring in that logic, and when you bring in your educational background, the projects you've worked on, the things you really care about, that's what makes them buy into the relationship. And that's what makes them think, oh wow, this person is really intelligent. I can learn a lot from them. I really want to be with this person. So focus on those things because that's what's going to make the relationship thrive. When we see the Two of Swords here, like I said, some of them might try and put a pause on this relationship. Some of them are not going to be confident enough to just jump into it and be together immediately. It just might not work out that way. But I feel like you maintain contact and you help them understand actually, not everything needs to seem 100% perfect off the bat. And there's no red flags and there's nothing wrong. So there's no reason not to pursue the relationship. And from that, they understand, oh, okay, it's actually worth it. I will go ahead and I will do this and I will take a next step. But there might be some initial resistance at the beginning. And the Two of Swords is also reflecting the energy that they bring at the very beginning, which is, I think some of them are a little bit reserved and are not showing everything about themselves. And that's fine, because when we're with strangers, we don't have to show everything about ourselves. It can be hard to open up in that way and show all of our hardships and all of our flaws and failures and that kind of stuff. So just be patient with them and know that it might take them some time to show them, or to show you everything about them. But know that something good will come of this, and really it's just time that it takes, and that's all. I'm also randomly getting an image of a hotel, so some of you might meet up with them in a hotel. I definitely am getting that food is involved in some shape or form. So you might sit down and have tea, and when I say tea, I also mean like tea and crumpets. Like they'll literally bring out that tray with all the different sandwiches and stuff like that. Some of you might meet in kind of this open air setting or this hotel setting. So keep that in mind. And then here we have the Two of Wands, and Two of Wands is a wonderful sign for a relationship because, first of all, whenever we see two, this is a partnership, this is a pairing, this is a harmonious relationship. There's a lot of duality here. I am getting a lot of positivity when it comes to shared beliefs and shared judgments. I feel like initially they're attracted to you because of your mind, especially with all of these swords cards, Ten of Swords, Justice, King of Swords, Queen of Swords. There's a sharpness about these cards, and there is a logic and an intellect about these cards that comes into play. So that's kind of where the relationship starts, but that's obviously not where it ends. It kind of progresses over this way without the Tower, but more with the Ten of Cups and the Two of Wands. This is about emotions, and this is about strategy and planning. Looking forward into the future. What I want to say is the best advice I can give you is start with logic, start with presenting the more academic, educational, professional side of yourself. They are going to buy into that. They are going to like what they see. And then once they get that, I feel like they'll start to open up and they'll start to kind of let the walls down. And also the other thing that's important, which I know it's kind of basic, but make sure that you exchange numbers. I feel like you might not hear from them on the same day or even the next day or even the day after that, following this date. So make sure that you have their number so that you can reach out to them if they don't text you back immediately. The other thing I want to say is if you are a woman pursuing a man, then I would completely throw what is called the traditional gender roles out the window. I don't think it will do you any good to hang around and wait for them to reach out to you after. Even though they really like you, even though they see a lot of positive benefit in you, I think a lot of them struggle because of this previous relationship, and a lot of them talk themselves down and tell themselves this kind of narrative, which is, oh, it's too good to be true, and therefore I shouldn't pursue it. So if you are a woman pursuing a man, then definitely be the one to text them and to reach out to them, and don't have any qualms about that. I feel like it's necessary. So I want you to know I see a very happy relationship for you in the future. It feels like you both bond a lot over shared interests, shared beliefs, and shared passions. So definitely be authentic and show them who you are. And through doing that, I feel that you have a very positive relationship and you get to this place, which is the wonderful Ten of Cups. So these are all of the messages that I got for you today, and I hope that it gave you some clarity and guidance. If you like this reading, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you would like to follow along and see more pick a card readings. And if you would like your own personal reading, you can always book using the links in my YouTube banner. And I will see you all in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye! Okay, pile 3, welcome to your reading. So I have your cards here in my hand, and I'm just going to shuffle them and see what comes through about you and your future spouse's first date. Okay, so I get a very excitable energy when I tune into your cards. So I'm going to go through these one by one and just talk a little bit about some of the messages that I'm getting. So the first one that we have here is the Wheel of Fortune. And the first thing that I instantly got is, for some of you, your future spouse represents a change in your romantic preferences. So this person might not look exactly like all of the people that you're normally attracted to, or they might have a different personality, or perhaps you told yourself, oh no, that's not the person for me, and then you decide to take a chance. So there is a shift and a change that happens here, and the Wheel of Fortune usually always represents a good change, especially when it's next to a positive card, which it is here. So we have the Page of Pentacles, and I feel like this is you laying the foundation to what will be a very fruitful and abundant relationship. Know that the first date is obviously just the beginning. There's going to be a lot more to come. I see a lot of positivity. I see a lot of genuine connection happening in the first date. And the good thing is, it feels like you're able to kind of get over whatever the mental block was in them not fitting 100% what you wanted, so to speak. And it feels like very soon and very quickly you're able to loosen up and enjoy and have fun with them. For a lot of you, I am seeing sitting down at a table, having, drinks and having kind of some snacks with it. Things like chicken wings, things like that. It doesn't even necessarily feel like a true sit-down dinner. It just kind of feels like maybe even getting bar food or something like that. And so I believe that where you meet and where you meet up for this first date is somewhere that's fun, somewhere that's kind of casual. It doesn't feel too intense. It certainly doesn't feel like you're going on a 5-star dinner reservation or something like that. And I think this is good because it kind of lets you loosen up, let your hair down, let them get to know you. And I feel like for many of you, if you do drink alcohol, you will have alcohol at this first date, and this will be something that will kind of help you loosen up a little bit and have some more fun. So that sounds good and that sounds positive. So here we have the Seven of Swords, which honestly is quite a funny card to get about the first date. So you could take this very literally. This could mean that for some of you, you are on this date and you're thinking to yourself, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be with this person forever. I need to escape. I need to go to the bathroom. I need to get away. I need to make an excuse. And when this happens, I actually get, it's not because you don't find this person attractive. I think that you do. It just kind of feels like you have a specific idea of what you want, and they might say a couple things where the details aren't clicking exactly into place. And so therefore you're kind of like, oh no, I don't know if this is the right person for me. But hey, remember that not everyone is going to 100% fit the bullseye of what we want. And sometimes what we think we want is not what we actually need. And so our spirit guides and our angels send us what we need, not necessarily what our conscious mind wants. Know that this is actually a very good person for you. Like I said, it represents a change in preferences. It represents a change or shift in your mindset. And so it might be a little bit hard for you to kind of get over this in the first date, but you will eventually get to that place, and there will be a lot of abundance here. So we have also the Queen of Pentacles. I'm definitely getting that you're drinking alcohol. If you don't drink, of course, throw this message away. But for many of you, even with the grapes here, I'm thinking like wine. I'm thinking, yeah, it could be hard alcohol, whatever it is. I feel like you're having fun, which is good. I think for many of you, there is music in the background. It kind of feels like Motown music or blues music. For some of you, it might even be live music, that you're somewhere where they're playing live music. And it definitely feels like a casual vibe. It feels kind of like a bar, the type of place where you can just really let go and, you know, have fun, which is great. With the Queen of Pentacles, I actually think that you might end up ordering a lot of like bar food or snacks at this place. It definitely feels like you are able to kind of have a nice conversation. You might even share a couple dishes together. And I don't mean it in a most intimate way. It just kind of feels like you might get things like fries, things like chicken wings, or hors d'oeuvres like, you know, a hummus plate or something like that. But whatever it is, regardless of your eating preferences, it feels like you're kind of able to share it if you would like to, which is nice. And I also think that they are feeling quite secure about you during this first date. So I feel that you come across as very poised, very beautiful, you have a wonderful appearance, you hold yourself very well. And so I think they're very attracted to that. And I think they find you alluring. Whereas I think that for you, you know, this person is cool. I think you find them physically attractive, but they might not meet every single characteristic of what you're looking for. It kind of feels like the type of energy where you want to give them a chance, and then they might say one or two things, and you're like, oh gosh, I don't know if I should give them a chance, which will lead to you sometimes feeling a little bit trapped or second guessing yourself. So when we see the Eight of Swords here, on the first date, you might think to yourself, oh my gosh, I don't know if this is exactly right. I don't know if I'm rushing into things. And you might feel pulled to end things too quickly. But the message here is definitely don't end things, because this is your future spouse. And so you have to push through this uncertainty and you have to push through this discomfort and just know that this is 100% the right person for you. So don't judge too quickly and be okay with trusting in the future, because in the future you have the sun, which is so exciting. That is a very positive sign. The sun, chariot. So, yes. Okay. If up until this point you were thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know, you know, that sounds scary, don't worry, because things are going to change pretty fast. The Sun, the Chariot, and the Knight of Wands is showing fast movement, fast action, fast change. I feel like there's a mental shift that needs to take place. I know I've said that many times, but once you let yourself fall in love with this person, once you let yourself understand actually this person is great, this person is awesome, then you fall in love very fast and everything happens very quickly. And then the honeymoon phase follows. So whatever stories or messages you tell yourself at the beginning, remember that they are just that. They're just stories. And this person doesn't have to fit into the exact box that you might have in your mind. Once that is kind of put to the side and you're able to see them for who they are, you are going to have so much fun with this person. What I'm getting is that this person is funny. They're really good at cracking jokes. They're quite smart. I feel like a lot of them are very athletic, which is appealing to you as well. I feel like they are sociable. They have a good circle of friends. I feel like they're good at having fun. They might enjoy dancing and just kind of goofing around. So I'm getting this really fun, goofy vibe, but also someone who can be serious when they need to be, and someone who is quite good at things like research and diving deep into subject matters. So they might have a couple topics that they're truly amazing at and they're truly an expert at. I also think for those of you who are younger, you might meet them at college, or you might meet them through a degree program, but you wouldn't meet them in class. You would meet them in the social time outside of class. So, you know, when we see the sun, like I said, this is going to be a joyful relationship. It's going to be long lasting. When we see the sun's rays, they shine on for a very long, long time, and they shine on into the distance, and this lights up the whole world, and that is what this relationship is like. It might take a little bit of effort cognitively for you to kind of change whatever your preference was at the beginning, but once you do that, there's so much success here. There is so much abundance. This is a wonderful sign. The Chariot is 2. It's like the black and the white, or the yin and the yang. And so that's kind of what this relationship teaches you, to accept what is different and accept what is new. And it's actually through this duality and through this unity that you're able to be most powerful and most authentically yourself as well. And so remember, there is unity through duality. Even if not everything seems 100% how you thought it would be at first, it's going to be successful, it's going to be amazing, and it's also bringing a lot of hope. When we see the Chariot, this is a very hopeful card. This is very hopeful for the future. The other thing that I want to say is a lot of you are actually going to go into business with your future spouse. And so this person is not just about love and romance. This person can be a business partner for you one day. This is someone who is going to stand by your side and is really going to help you make money in the future and be successful. And then lastly here we have the Knight of Wands, and when we see the Knight of Wands, this is movement. So like I said, once you kind of let all those walls down and just let this person in, I feel like you have such a successful relationship. I think it's a lot of fun. I think you do a lot of stuff together. Like, you might be pulled to go to sports games together and to go on adventures together, to go on long drives into nature together, to explore new places together. It feels like the type of relationship where you're being adventurous, you're exploring new things, and you're learning a lot about yourself. And I feel like this actually brings you to spiritual heights. So as a person, you actually grow and develop, because spiritually you open up your aura and you open up your energetic field, and by doing that you end up in this place of success and movement. So these are all of the messages that I got for you guys today, and I hope that it gave you some clarity and guidance. If you like this reading, please give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share it if you feel so inclined. And if you would like a personal reading, you can book using the links in my YouTube banner. Alright guys, have a great day, and thank you so much. Bye!